What's up, guys? I hope you all are doing well. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, we will be looking at exercise 31 of our Python exercise tutorial series. From this exercise onwards, 31 onwards, we will be looking at looping exercises until further notice. So without any further ado, guys, let's get to it. Okay, there we have it. Exercise 31. In this exercise, you will proceed to create a Python program that computes the average of a collection of values entered by the user. The user will enter 0 as a sentinel value to indicate that no further values will be provided. Your program should display an appropriate error message if the first value entered by the user is 0. Okay, guys, so the first and foremost thing I should mention is that there are several ways to go about doing this program. I am here to provide you a guide. The second thing I should mention, this program has to do with loops. And considering that I've been providing explanations, kind of a line by line explanation for all the programs that we've been working with so far. And as we proceed further into, these more advanced in inverted commas topics in Python, videos will kind of be a bit too long if I provide line by line explanations. For example, these looping exercises, and we'll encounter functions and so on. So also, because you see on the channel, if you look around, you will find like I created PowerPoint slides that explain loops and all of these topics that we've been working with. I've explained in PowerPoint slides step by step, how each of these structures work in Python. And so if you watched those, you will be 100% good to go. Okay, because I actually sat with my resources and my experience, and I took time to actually type out the words on screen so I can assist you in developing your Python skills. So with that, for these exercises onwards, what I'm thinking I will do is reduce the amount of time we actually spend on the explanations, because there's a lot that can be said and it's quite interesting, and I'm afraid that if I start talking I will have a difficulty to actually stop. So with that, let's get started. Like, one thing I should mention though is, like, as I told you, right, there's so many ways to go about interpreting this question, because I mean, I'm taking into consideration that these are kind of, in inverted commas, beginners exercises. These were actually exercises that I kind of had, well, similar in nature. I kind of had in 2020 when I was studying Python. And with that, I will do it in a way that, my university colleagues and all of us had learnt back in 2020, basically with the use of not too complex structures. Okay, so with that, let's get started. Okay, guys, this is the first solution for our first exercise on loops. As you can see, there's quite a lot to talk about. We can go on and on, but the important thing is that it's nothing difficult. It's just the way in which you decide to go about tackling the problem, right? It all depends on your perspective of the problem and your, basically, your preference. How do you want to go about solving this problem? So the way in which I have went about solving this problem is very, very similar to what I learned in 2020, back when I was termed a beginner in inverted commas. Really, it's just a matter of knowing that these structures and the syntax exists in Python, and then using it when it's meant to be used. So, like, essentially, what's happening in this solution? Numbers is equals to input. We have an input prompt. We're splitting at a comma. Reason being, they said that a collection of values is going to be entered by the user. You know, a string is actually a collection in Python, right? A string is regarded as an iterable in Python. With that, our string that we're going to be entering is basically, let's run this program, then we can talk. So let's do a quick random values. I'll enter all double digits. Yeah, 6 numbers is more than enough. Hit enter. Okay, see, I forgot to end the list with 0. Remember, they mentioned that 0 is going to serve as the sentinel value. So we've got 6 values there, and finally comes a 0. So hit enter, and there I have it. The average of your numbers is 1.17. That's good. Now, what's important for us to, kind of keep in mind is that in this specific situation, I see I actually made an error here, guys. So that's why the average is off. That average does not look right at all. It's because of this line here, summation. So instead of I typed 1. So that's that. Let's run this again. Let's do double digits, 0, hit enter. Now that's more like it, right? That looks much more convincing. The average of your numbers is 30. So let's talk logic. Now, what's happening here, guys, is you see the split function combined with the input. Input is being read. Split function is splitting it at a comma. Numbers list map int is taking that split string, which is basically numbers. It's taking int, and map is taking the int function and converting each element, each string element inside numbers into an integer. And at the end, we convert this into a list, and this is what numbers becomes. So if we type numbers now in our interactive Python shell, we're going to see in the IPython console that numbers is indeed a list. Moving on, we are proceeding into a simple if elif else ladder. Essentially, numbers -1, if you've watched the videos on the channel, this should be making sense to you. -1 denotes the last element in a list. That's negative indexing, checking to see if it's equal to 0. Summation is 0. This is a simple variable that we've defined. You can call yours total sum, or anything of your choice. For I in numbers, we're looping through this list. I covered that in the video as well. The videos, so I should mention while we're here that on my channel, the videos that you see that maybe look boring, those PowerPoint ones, they may appear to be boring and monotonous in terms of like the work that's actually discussed. But trust me, if you listen to those videos, or if you just read those slides yourself, mute the volume and read the slides by yourself, yeah, to be honest with you, you will learn everything you need to know to be able to tackle these exercises as a, in inverted commas, beginner. Okay, because those videos kind of prepare you for, I would say, a bit more than just beginner skills. But moving on, summation is equals to summation plus I. That's a simple looping syntax there. And finally we're computing average. Now, what I should tell you is that outside the for loop, this is important. It's very important where you actually decide to place your print statements, especially after loop structures. Like, the program would have worked, yes, but it would not have been, I would say, like, streamlined. If this print statement was lying inside the for loop, then we'd keep printing the average for as many numbers the user enters. So if the user entered, like, 30 numbers, this print statement would have ran 30 times. But in the event of placing it, one level indented one level back, then we are sorted out. So we don't need to stress about consuming system resources. Now, elif numbers 0 is equals to 0. Numbers 0, we're checking the first element. Python is 0 indexed. if that first element is 0, we're going to tell the user you cannot start your collection with 0, otherwise or else you forgot to end the list with 0. We saw this in action when I actually forgot to end my list with 0 there, right? In the first time we ran this program. And that's that. We've successfully completed our first exercise on loops in Python. And this will be the format of, I would say, most of our exercises from, henceforth, because it will be super time consuming to keep explaining line by line. By now, I take it that, you've probably acquainted yourself with the channel. I mean, if you are subscribed, then I'm pretty sure that you are watching one or two videos on the channel when you get time, especially if you're a beginner. Those videos are super helpful. So with that, we will reduce the amount of discussion we spend talking, about simple conditions like this, or print statements, or something like variable declaration, and indexing, taking input, and so on. Even functions, not to stress about that. I have created, the PowerPoint slide is ready. I've created a PowerPoint slide that explains every inbuilt function in Python. So map, int, and so on is covered in there. And with that, I do hope you found the video interesting, and good luck for your work, guys. Do make sure you leave a like for this video if you found it useful, and subscribe to my channel if you are not already subscribed. And with that, I'll see you in the next YouTube video.